This is your preview for Chelsea's European competition quarterfinal second leg. Yeah? Yeah, that doesn't sound too bad. Let's roll with that. Arsenal beat Real Madrid at the Bernabeu last night. If you didn't catch my reaction to that, you can. But like I've said before, and how I say it now, they always leave the best till last, right? So, all about playing on Thursdays. This preview is going to be quite straightforward because you see how Arsenal was 3-0 up from their first leg against Real Madrid. Well, Chelsea are 3-0 up from our first leg against our opponents. And that means, just like how Arsenal in their Champions League quarterfinal at the Bernabeu second leg were able to take it easy and stick to the plan, defend really well and hit the counter-attack and put in a very disciplined, pragmatic performance, is similar to how Chelsea are able to do that, if they want to do that, tonight in our second leg of this European competition at home. So, bearing that in mind, because of this flexibility that we have, and one thing of context that we have to add here is Arsenal had to play Real Madrid that were threatening an entire remontada, you know, with the roof closed at the Bernabeu. You know, we're not quite in the same situation. Not quite. It's close. It's close, but it's not quite. Because we're going to be at home, not away. And we don't have a roof. And if I'm not mistaken, I think tickets are still available. But still, it's a little bit, not too much, little bit easier with our circumstances compared to Arsenal's at the Bernabeu. So, bearing this in mind, we can offer, I think, a little bit more flexibility into tonight's game. Which is also a reason why this preview is out today and not yesterday, because I didn't want it to interfere, you know, with my reaction to last night's game that deserved its own time on this channel. And because there's more flexibility going into this game, I thought it would be best to put it out first thing today. Now, because of this flexibility that we have tonight, I feel like we're not expecting the same sort of remontada that people were expecting with Real Madrid, right? Because with all due respect as well, our opponents, right? They're not threatening one. You know, they're not coming out and putting up posts on their social media of how, you know, 90 minutes at the Bernabeu, always a dangerous thing. They're not coming out saying that 90 minutes tonight at Stamford Bridge is going to be a dangerous thing. You know, their coach and their bus got a flipping standing ovation, huge welcome. It was like welcoming, you know, fighters back from a war. I don't think our opponents are going to offer that same level of intensity tonight. So this is why I'm saying that tonight's European game, right, isn't going to offer the same level of intensity as last night's one did. But it won't be too far off. Yeah. Not too far off. Because of this circumstance, this is where we get to use the flexibility that's on offer tonight in the lineup, which I'm about to put on screen for you guys. Right? This is something that Arsenal last night were not able to do because the circumstances and the environment was a little bit more challenging for them, right? Which meant that they had to try and play the strongest team possible. Whereas with us, we can have a few options. So, bearing that in mind, let's jump into the starting 11. So here we go. I've gone with Chelsea's #1 goalkeeper, Robert Sanchez. You know, we can't take risks. You know, this is a European competition quarter-final. This is where it's serious. So we have to play somewhat of a strong team. And it means having our #1 goalkeeper there. Obviously. The centre-backs. Again, you have to try and stay strong. So Levi Colwill is in there. I know he's not looked too great recently, but we need to put a strong team out there tonight for a quarter-final. So he stays. Alongside him, Tosin. The only player that we have, outfield player, above the age of 25. He plays. Leadership. Gusto onto the left-hand side. Because at the same time, we've got to use the flexibility to think about the game against Fulham on the weekend. Right? So we're jumping from a European quarter-final, second leg, to Fulham on Sunday. We have to try and use our options and think about our options here as well. So I would think it's wise to leave Cucurella for that Fulham game. So Gusto moves to the left, but at the same time, Reece James should be used in that Fulham game. So Achiempong comes in tonight. Enzo Fernandez starts alongside KDH. Oh no, wait. I'm sorry. It's very easy to mix up KDH and KDB. I was almost going to say KDB. It happens. It's one of those mistakes, you know, one great midfielder with another great midfielder. It's one of those things. But KDH alongside Enzo. And then I think we can even think about bringing off Enzo later on in the game if the result is going according to plan, because it's going to clearly be a little bit of a challenge tonight. Then I would take off Enzo and bring on Lavia for a little bit, considering that he apparently trained. And surely that means he's able to come onto the football pitch and kick a ball, right? I hope that's not too much risk. Nkunku into his natural 10 position is something that we can do tonight, which would be wise to see, considering he's been a little bit off it lately. But it would be nice to have him in his position now that we have the chance to be able to do so. On the right, Pedro Neto, because I think it's best to leave Madueke for the game against Fulham. On the left, Tyreek George, who scored in the first leg, right? So credit to him, he can continue. Go on, lad. And up top, because we don't have too many options in the striker department, for various reasons that you could argue, I would say, you know what, we can leave Jackson for the Fulham game, and we can play Mueka, right? The modern day Ruud Gullit. He can start and give him a good hour, hour and a half. Because why not? And if it's getting a little bit too tense and a bit too sticky, which I don't expect it to, then I think we can bring on Jackson. But it should be okay. So, I hope this makes sense. What do you think? That is my starting 11. Now, European quarter-final, second leg. It's never easy. So when predicting the score, taking the first leg into consideration, I have to say that being at home and maybe playing or managing the result, we might just get a little narrow win, nothing too crazy. But I do expect to win. And for that reason, I am going with Chelsea 2. Our opponents 0. And we will march on to the semi-final in the same way that Arsenal did last night in their Champions League tie. So I look forward to seeing who we're going to get in our semi-final of this European competition. And you know, so much so that I think it's important to illustrate the magnitude of this occasion. Right? The magnitude of this occasion. And why? The Chelsea social media team clearly believe tonight's a big night. European quarter-final, second leg. It was what they put back home in Europe. Yeah? Match day. Yes, we don't need to look at that too long. But this is what we do. So it's quarter-final, second leg. Will be challenging, but we can persevere and march on to the semi-final of this European competition. So, I will see all of you after the game. I will give you my thoughts and reaction to this nail-biting, butterfly-flying tie that we have later tonight. So, I will see all of you later after the game. Enjoy. Don't bite your nails too much. Don't be on the edge of your seat too much. You know, it can be tantalizing, but it will be okay, hopefully. I will see you for the review. Look after yourselves. Thank you for watching. Subscribe. Catch you later. Let's do it.